One of the most common questions we get is why Japan? Why does Japan need missionaries? They're rich, they're prosperous. But what most people don't realize is that Japan is actually one of the largest unreached people groups in the world. There are 127 million people in Japan. Fully 1/3 of them live in an area called the Kanto Plain. Tokyo is one of the largest urban centers in the world. It's a study in contrasts. There's the ancient, there's the traditional, with temples and shrines, and many of the old ways still visible on every street corner. And yet there's also the modern, the progressive, a city that's constantly running forward. There's the very rich, and there's the very poor. Though Japan is materially well off, it's spiritually very poor. Out of 692 large cities, 86 have only one church, and 10 large cities have no church at all. There's one missionary for every 56,000 Japanese. Shinto and Buddhism are the main religions of Japan. These are religions widely practiced, but honestly not widely believed. 79% of Japanese, when asked if they had to choose a religion, expressed their greatest interest in Christianity. But why? Why don't they come to Christ at that level? There's many reasons. After World War II, Hirohito, the emperor, declared to the nation that he was not God. And something was born in the heart of the Japanese at that point, where they began to wonder, well, if this man who was a god isn't anymore, how can we trust anything? And a hopelessness began to enter into the nation. 11% of Japanese wish that they'd never been born. 85% of the young people wonder why they even exist. There's a hopelessness in Japan that can only be answered by the God who made them, by the God who knows why He created them. Japan has the 6th highest suicide rate on the planet. An estimated 30,000 people a year take their own lives. That's 100 people a day. That's 3 people every hour committing suicide in Japan. Francis Xavier said that the Japanese were some of the finest people he'd ever met on the planet. They said this was a nation that was ripe for the gospel, and you still see it. The Japanese, they're beautiful people, they're hospitable, they're smart, their attention to detail, they're striving for excellence, they do things well. The Japanese are incredibly smart, they're creative, they're funny, they're hospitable. There's so much talent and so much gifting and so much that's amazing about this culture. But at the same time, families are breaking down. Fathers work so many hours a week that their kids sometimes see them an hour or less every week. This is a fatherless people, a fatherless generation. There's men and women growing up in this country who don't know who they are. They don't know what it means to be mature. Many Japanese experience hopelessness as an almost constant reality of their life. So what's the answer? It's clear that Jesus is the answer. It's clear that Jesus is the source of hope. It's clear that Jesus is the only one. He called this nation out. He is calling this nation out. He's the one who said, I call you by name to be my chosen people. I believe that God is going to turn this into one of the greatest missionary sending nations in the world. I believe that the Japanese are the key to reaching the rest of Asia and the keys to reaching the Muslim nations. But the only way they're ever going to know is if you come, if you say yes. We need teachers, we need athletes, we need artists. If you have a gift set, we need you to come and bring what the Lord has gifted you with to reach a nation that's on the cusp of revival, that's on the cusp of being released as a sending nation. Why Japan? The real question is, why not Japan?